Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. Now today I'm sowing carrots today, and just these things behind me here are my carrot protection. We'll go and have a look at those and then we'll get on with some sowing. So what we've got here is quite simple, and these are made with tile battens, roof battens, and they're just screwed together to make panels. The whole thing is panelized, so I'll get in so you can have a closer look. In here they're just screwed together, so this is one panel, this whole thing is one panel, and it's just been screwed to 3 others, and that's as simple as it gets. So they can be flat packed away. They're light because the tile battens, and they can be moved, and they've got a lid, and they're surprised they are covered with what they call a veggie mesh, and that stops the carrot flies getting in. Now I won't lie to you, this stuff, the veggie mesh, is not cheap, but it pays you back, because I had a bed that size that you could see there. There's 2 frames there, and I had a ton of carrots out of that last year, and probably only 3 carrots had carrot fly in them. Not sure how they got in, probably when I was thinning the carrots, which is something I'll talk about when I'm sowing the carrots, or maybe a gap in between the panels. So I don't know if you can see, there's very small gaps in between the panels there. I could screw them right in and tighten them up, but I can live with the fact that 3 carrots had carrot fly. I just cut it out and ate the rest. So there we go. So I shall be moving those on top of this bed here, and you can see I've already marked out this first cane is where the first frame will end, from all the way down there, and then I'm going to get 6 rows of carrots across there. We'll crack on in a minute and I'll show you what I'll do next. But they're not measured, they're just plonked in, and as I say, it's 6 rows. Right, so this ground has been raked up to a nice fine tilth. It's no dig bed. I mean, I haven't dug it, I've just raked it over the surface, really, just to loosen it up so that I can draw some drills, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get my finger in and draw some drills. Now, if there's one thing worth doing in gardening, it's taking your time when you're sowing carrots, because if you get this right now, you'll have less problems later on, because carrots need space to grow, and they need, you know, a couple of inches at least in between them. So if you can imagine a carrot that's that fat and another one like that next to each other, you know, that's 3 to 4 inches taken up with 2 carrots, and the seeds will have been sown roughly that far apart. So if on that basis you want them sort of 2 to 3 inches apart as the final positions, so if you sow loads of seeds in there, you'll be forever picking them out, and you'll only start picking them out and thinning them out when the carrots are actually growing, so the foliage is there. Now it's the bruising, the touching, the moving of the foliage that attracts the carrot fly, and to get in to thin the carrots out, you've got to take the lid off. Now I know they say the carrot fly can only fly, you know, 18 inches to 2 foot off the ground, but I call that, I think that's incorrect. I've got pipes that I've grown carrots in, and I've put buckets up, must be 4 foot off the ground, and I've still had carrot fly in them. And what I think is happening, because they're such a light and tiny fly, a gust of wind lifts them and they get over a defence. So that's why I've got the lids on my things, and why I try to sow thinly in the first place. Now you can use one of these seed sowing toys if you want to, or you can just use your finger and thumb to pinch, so put little bits little tiny amount of seed in. But the thinner that you can sow them now, the better a crop you'll get later on. So I've drawn a drill across. Just going to put some water in it, and I'll let that soak away so the bottom of the drill is wet for the seed going in. That'll drain away nice and quick. And then very carefully with these seed sowers, you can just tap them and the seeds just move gently and they start to come down this spout. There's little ridges on there that stop the whole lot flowing out in one go. But even so, saying that, you still got to be relatively careful and slow and ponderous with it. Just take your time. I would rather spend 10 minutes now getting this part right than having the whole crop later on massacred by carrot fly. So it's not easy, and I will still have to thin out some of them, but hopefully not too many. So there we go, there's two rows done. Now it's just a case of just covering them over. And then just pat them down. Now you know that your carrots are in direct contact with wet soil. They'll soak up that water, germinate and get off, and hopefully you won't have too thick a carpet of carrots later in the season. So then I'll put the cage over the top and I will water through the cage. I won't take the lid off to water. I will water over the top of the cage, and that's how I'll keep these watered until I harvest them. I don't want to open that lid unless I really have to.
Could hear my father's voice, he would tell me to move on. He would say I'll be just fine. Yeah, he would tell me we have time to laugh and time to heal. Our favorite song is on repeat, drinking wine until the dawn, knowing soon we'll be back home. Ooh, I'm thinking about you. Ooh, I'm wishing that you knew. That I'm thinking about you. I see that smile on your face. You told me about the hidden place, something in the atmosphere. You're always here, you always here. Time to laugh and time to heal. My favorite song is on repeat, drinking wine until the dawn.
The first 6 rows under that cage were a variety called Berlicum2, and I think I've still got the packet here. Hopefully you can see that. It's from Premier Seeds Direct. That's a lovely orange carrot. It's quite thick, so it's good for stews and casseroles, which I like carrots for. Grows to about 6 to 8 inches long, roughly. Sort of blunt nosed. But these ones I'm growing now, I'm putting in here, are Purple Sun. Obviously a purple carrot, again from Premier Seeds Direct. And we love the purple carrots. We think that they're a little bit sweeter, especially the way we cook them. Now, some of you, or a lot of you will know that I'm an ex-chef, and there's one method of cooking carrots that every cook should have in their armoury, and it's called Vichy carrots. What you do is you cut up your carrots to nice even sizes, pop them in a pan, and you barely cover them in water. And traditionally, it's a French dish, you would use Vichy water, but normal plain water will do. And you barely cover them. I mean, some of the carrots will be sticking out the water half an inch. And then you add a knob of butter, a bit of salt, and then you start to cook them, bring them up to the boil. Now, all the time that they're cooking, every 30 seconds or so, shake the pan. Just shake it to swirl the content around. This gives you better, even cooking. And eventually all the water will evaporate, just leaving that knob of butter behind, which is your glazed carrots. And all of that sweetness of the carrots are concentrated within the carrots itself. So it's a wonderful way to cook carrots, nice and easy, quick to do, and I heartily recommend it. Now, if you're using perhaps a supermarket carrot, just taste them at the raw stage. If they're not very sweet, just add half a teaspoon of sugar at the start, and that will just help. Don't go overboard, don't go mad on the sugar. Remember, everything's going to be reduced down and it's just going to be left with your carrots. But that's my top tip, top recipe, Vichy carrots. So there we go, that's them sown as well. So I'll just cover them up and put another one of these babies on, and that's it, we're done. We'll go and have a look at thinning some carrots in the polytunnel in a minute. Okay, so thinning out carrots is a necessary evil if you've been a little bit heavy-handed, as I have here. Now you can see here, just under my fingers here, there are 3 carrots here, there are 2 carrots here, and again here there are 1, 2, 3. Now the way I was taught by my granddad how to thin carrots is you protect the seedling that you want to save and you pull the other one out. So I'm left with 2 there. It's the one in the middle I want to save, put my thumb over it and pull the other one out. See, there's still another one there behind it, so protect the seedling I want to keep and pull the other one out. Now it's the same with the one in the middle. I've got a reasonable one and a spawny one. Cover the one I want to save, pull the other one out. And the same with this one. This is the one I want to keep, the thicker one. Cover that and I'll just pull the other 2 out. So we're left with 3 carrots there with ideal spacing, room for them to swell. These are an Amsterdam 4-cent, so they're a much thinner carrot. I think they only get up to about 1 inch thick. So that's ample space for them, and I'll go through the whole of these tubs with that, doing that, protecting the seedling you want to keep with your thumb and then pulling the rest out with your fingers. I don't know why that works, but that was the way I was taught and that's the way I do it now. Now, as with all seedlings, they've just gone in the ground, they're totally reliant on you now, so it's up to you to keep them moist at all times. It doesn't mean you have to drench them, just keep them moist. So when the surface of that soil dries off, which it will do in about 2 days, if we've had no rain, and some is forecast for this week, if we've had no rain, I'll give them a water just to keep them moist until I see them starting to grow, and then I can ease back on the watering, maybe once, maybe twice a week. But that's it for now. Hope you've got something from that. I say you can do most of that stuff. You can use fleece instead of the Enviromesh or the veggie mesh if you want to, because I know that's quite expensive, but I consider that to be an investment. The carrots in the back of the polytunnel there, I will make a little cane structure and throw some fleece over that once they get a bit bigger. Now, with the carrot fly, I believe there's 2 cycles every year, and I think ours is sort of mid to late June and then again in September. And you'll need to check with other plot holders, other gardeners, other local sources too, because it can vary from area to area as to when they appear. And that's the time then that you need to be careful what you're doing. For example, taking lids off to thin them out and that sort of thing. So, you know, it's something you can find out for yourselves and be made more aware of. So that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.